hapa mweshi.
William Ruto alikuwa kwa serikali iliyokwisha, the one Kimani Ichungwa was referring to. William Ruto was there as deputy president. Na kama iko watu walikuwa abducted na kuwawa akiwa naibu wa rais, yeye pamoja na rais wakati huo ndio wangejibu. In fact, Natembeya was a mere administrator ambaye alikuwa kwa region hapa. He was not anywhere. He was not the DCI. He was not the Inspector General. He was not Deputy President or Cabinet Secretary for Interior. He was a low-key officer in the region, just a regional commissioner. Hakuna vile Ichungwa anataka kutani. Hii propaganda wanajaribu kutani kwa watu wengine ndio wanafanya. They are the ones doing it. Ni Ichungwa na hiyo group ya William Ruto ndio wana abduct watu wakiua. Na wajue hii mambo itakuja kukwisha. Lazima Wakenya waamuke tumalize haya mambo ya abduction. William Ruto himself admitted, na vile Natembeya alimwambia, alisema atakomesha abductions. Alisema atakomesha abduction, lakini wazazi nyinyi na nyinyi muongee na watoto wenu waache kufanya hizo vitu wanafanya. Yani, that was a direct admission. That he's aware of his officers abducting people, the youth. Na ataisimamisha, lakini na nyinyi wazazi muongee na watoto wenu. That is what he essentially said. If you talk about the man who, tried to lecture our governor, huyu Kimani Ichungwa, we know Kimani Ichungwa very well, and you also know that he cannot address a rally even in his own Kikuyu constituency.
Yes.
You are also aware that his house was burned when he voted yes for the Finance Bill 2023 and the one of 2024.
Yes.
You are aware that he is only found in Nairobi in State House or anywhere outside Nairobi with the president, but he cannot move alone.
Yes.
Even to Mount Kenya region, he cannot move to Kiambu and address a rally. Alafu anakuja hapa Bungoma kutusi watu viongozi wa hapa Western. We cannot allow that. And we are warning him. Tulifanya heshima, tungemngojea, ilikuwa matanga ya mama yetu, mama ya speaker.
Yes.
We are warning huyu Kimani Ichungwa asijaribu kuleta hiyo ujinga ako nayo hapa Western region.
Yes.
Kama viongozi, we are not going to sit back and watch mtu atoke nje kufanya matusi kwa governor Natembeya. Yes. Na tutaendelea kusimama na yeye. We are going to issue another statement in Nairobi with our partners, coalition partners. Mnajua we are at the moment working towards a coalition, and we'll be coming up with a comprehensive statement from coalition partners and ourselves.
Our deputy party leader and governor of Trans Nzoia County, His Excellency George Natembeya, was right to respectfully point out the poverty in Western Kenya, the wrongs committed by abducting protesting youths. For Kimani Ichungwa, who was the chairman of the budget committee in parliament at the height of economic marginalization of the Western region, should not think we have forgotten his role in even denying Western Kenya equitable share of CDF by pushing through an amendment that made sharing of CDF equal instead of equitable, resulting in impoverishing Western Kenya by denying Western Kenya a total of 14 billion shillings during his ignominious reign as chairman of the budget committee for 5 years. His childish and uncouth attack on Natembeya reflects his low opinion of leaders from Western Kenya, and the Speaker of the National Assembly should tread carefully with friends like Ichungwa, who will happily lead him to a terrible and ignominious exit. To imply that Natembeya abducted and murdered people is a legally actionable offense on the integrity of George Natembeya, and we dare Ichungwa to go to Mount Kenya region and say that in a public gathering. Yes, we are economically marginalized as a community, and any attempt to shut us down by branding us tribalists will not work, because it is tribalism practiced by the likes of Ichungwa that has terribly marginalized us and hurt Western Kenya, but hopefully not permanently. We call on His Excellency Governor George Natembeya not to despair, but to up his defense of the community by fighting for our rights and indeed all Kenyans. It is now clear that those of us who thought that the Kenya Kwanza kakistocracy was a disaster for Kenyans as far as their civil liberties and human rights are concerned, now the broad-based administration is an unmitigated catastrophe for Kenyans as they try to hector, bamboozle, cajole, and intimidate Kenyans through propaganda, outright lies, falsehoods, gaslighting, threats that look like a terribly scripted and poorly rehearsed drama piece, all aimed at balkanizing the country in their quest for a 41 versus 1 narrative reminiscent of the disaster that they visited on this country in late 2007 and early 2008. Public demonstrations from time immemorial have always been accompanied by burning of effigies of leaders, and indeed sometimes making of coffins where the leaders' effigies is placed and then burned or buried. All this was happening during the analog phase of the people's development. But now with the advent of the digital age, these protests have moved to the internet, where through AI, the same effigies are now created, placed in a coffin, and burnt, and that is nothing new. That's how demonstrations have always been. It's just that now they have moved on the internet. Any leader who has a thin skin and can't withstand this is invited to step down from leadership. Those enforced disappearances, abductions, and other extrajudicial activities by the authorities that were happening under the Jubilee administration indeed angered Kenyans, such that they welcomed Kenya Kwanza promise to end these atrocities and elected them to office. However, Kenya Kwanza has failed, or they are unable or unwilling to end these atrocities. But some things that are notable are, A, the Jubilee administration is no longer in office. So they are not the perpetrators of these nefarious atrocities. They left office. Uhuru Kenyatta left office. The then IG left office. The then Director of Criminal Investigation left office. The then NIS bosses left office. Yet these atrocities continue. Who was in that administration of Jubilee and is in the current administration and was in a vantage position to continue these atrocities from Jubilee to Kenya Kwanza, and now broad-based kakistocracies? Kenyans should look no further for the perpetrators of these atrocities. Remember the Mambo ni Matatu statement that was followed soon after by the abduction of a famous Kenyan industrialist who also happens to be the biggest investor in Western Kenya, Jaswant Singh Rai. And Kenyans kept quiet. That is how the rain started beating us.
When it comes to abduction, every day these leaders, including our party leader, hata jana, ameongelea about abduction. Everywhere that is going, msimamo wa party ni kwamba abduction isimamishwe. Na serikali inajua. So we are saying whatever Natembeya raised is nothing new. Hiyo ndio msimamo wa chama, na sisi ndio chama kinaongelea wanyonge. Tafadhali serikali iongeze security, serikali itupatie ile yenye iliahidi Western region. Otherwise we stand by that statement as a party, na wafuasi wetu wote lazima wajue ya kwamba as a party we will stand together and we shall stand with a common person.